Where are we?
It takes a couple of minutes.
Where are we? Hello.
Go to the other screen.
Come in, Mars. It's there.
And we're unmuted, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, it just takes a few minutes for everything to go through.
Kick in. Right.
And for people to see that we're back on.
We're back.
We're back.
There's Willem. Hey, William.
There we are. Okay. So I can read comments. Cool. Okay, William Rochot is here. He's the first night owl here in the chat.
He may be the only one, and that's cool.
Maybe. Oh, there's Lawrence, too.
Lawrence of Arabia.
Hey there, Mr. Lawrence. Jennifer Delaney, the prize winner, is here.
That's right, why not?
Richard's here, and let's see.
Oh, baby.
Is that, what does it say?
I don't know.
Oh, an L. And Eric, Jimmy K, Wiki Bobby. Very cool. We're getting some night owls. And Grim's gonna serenade you. What are you gonna play for us, Grim?
Nothing. Just playing around till everybody gets in.
Okay. Richard Perez says happy Friday. Mofe Chen's here. Woohoo! Awesome. Hello there. Is that Steven? Steven. He says hello, everybody. We hope you guys are having a nice chill Friday night. It was raining here earlier. And it was nice hearing the rain. I like the rain sounds at night. Jimmy K says play American Splendor. Haha.
American Splendor.
Jennifer Delaney says I did email you.
Oh, we'll get it.
And Anthony says I just subbed your channel. Thank you, Anthony. Connie Cleary's here. Wiki Bobby. Awesome, guys. Cool. So yeah, we're gonna get started in just a minute here. Whenever Grim's ready.
I'm ready.
Okay, cool.
I would just plunk in my twanger.
Pluck in your magic twanger.
It ain't magic, but it's a twanger. Okay. Set that down nicely. Woohoo! All right.
Enjoying the last few minutes of light here in LA. It was a beautiful warm day, says Richard.
LA.
We're
working on getting warm here.
It was like Seattle here, just kind of cool and overcast.
And rainy. A bit rainy just a
little
few minutes
rainy.
Ago. Yeah.
Yeah. We haven't we're supposed to have warm weather by now.
Right, well.
It hasn't happened yet.
Good luck with that one.
We would get one warm day and then a week of cold and rainy.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. But, we're hoping to have summer soon.
Sometime. It would be nice sometime this year to have summer unless you kick in.
Yeah, LA, they have summer year-round.
Groovy, baby. Groovy. They do.
But then they have fire season, too.
Yeah, it's not really a season. It's an unfortunate event. But
yeah.
Natural or otherwise, it sucks. That's not a good thing.
No, that's no good for anybody.
I always hate to see that. And last year it was horrible. Oh, my God.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you just do it out there. But
yeah, I don't know either.
It's amazing.
Okay. So, welcome back, gang, to another exciting episode of The Mummy and the Monkey's Hairy Scary Hangover.
Oh my gosh, what a night it was. Oh,
our after show chat show where we can just decompress and chat with you guys. And
yeah, this is a whole different vibe. This is a more loose show, even though our live show is kind of loose. It's not scripted, really.
We're not hosting a movie for this one. We're just going to talk about movies and pop culture stuff. We did wrap up episode 270 of the Hairy Scary Hangout a little bit ago on a previous live stream. And the movie was Atom Age Vampire. So if you guys missed it, you could go back and catch it later. It will be up on YouTube.
Yeah, full of sound effects and funny drop-ins and all the cool in-between stuff that happens there, too.
Like the retro commercials and the skits.
People love those. I love putting those together because I was definitely one of those kids that grew up in front of the television. I mean, I absorbed all of that radiation, all of those sounds, all of those, the things from the 70s. I was definitely sitting in front of a TV since the beginning of the early 70s up until now. So,
wow.
And that's what you get here. This is what happens when you sit in front of the TV too long, kids.
You turn into a monkey man.
Yeah. This is the transformation that can happen.
My goodness.
It depends on the mutation and the genes. But yeah, this is what happened to me. That's Grim Gory's origin story,
Oh, okay.
No, I don't know. It could be, though.
I thought I just found you at the zoo or something. Or
you found me?
Or at the pound?
We met each other. No, at the pound. They give monkeys away at the pound?
Yeah. I adopted you there. That's how we met, right?
No.
I'm joking.
No. Okay, so...
I kid.
Someone is down to now, says David Phillips. Okay, no, David Phillips is down to now.
Okay, so,
all right, so what are we talking about tonight?
We're going to talk about some bad movies we watched recently. You know, there's a lot of great Roku channels that have, like, those free channels. Like,
Lordy.
Like, there's the Roku channel, there's Pluto, there's Tubi. Well, we found a couple real bad movies on Tubi.
Yeah.
There's a lot of bad movies on there.
And you don't really...
But they're fun to watch.
Yeah, because, it doesn't really cost you anything, obviously, except for whatever
for
your
cable
time goes. Yeah. Yeah, your life
and
force.
your internet.
Yeah. The time you'll never get back, and how much is that worth? Probably more than what you spent watching that whatever you watched.
Watching that dumb movie.
But we do this for you out there. We put ourselves through this torture, so we have something to talk about on a Friday night at around 11 p.m. So
yes, okay. So we watched one the other day. It's called Berserker, and it was made in 1987. Berserker, and it's like a 80s slasher kind of movie where a group of, I don't think they're necessarily teenagers. I think they're supposed to be maybe college students.
Right.
So maybe like young adults, like maybe 18 to 21 range.
Portrayed by, late 20s adults.
Portrayed by 30-year-olds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, they're supposed to be like a college age, I think.
Yeah.
And they go out to on a camping trip. How many movies? That's very original premise, by the way.
Yes.
They go out for a weekend of fun and frolic.
They're supposed to be renting out a cabin and hanging out at this cabin, but then like all this crazy stuff happens.
Well, murders start happening. They start in the beginning of the movie where an old couple that is going to go rent the same campground just to relive where they met years ago.
They were hanging out there too, yeah.
And you find out that they're murdered later. But anyway, so the premise of the movie is that it's based on Viking legends, right? That the berserkers were sort of these they're a part of the Viking army where they were these people that were basically cannibals, and they were nuts.
And they would wear like these bear masks and dress like bears.
And the Vikings, when they would go to war, they would send the berserkers in first to just tear the place up, and then they would come in afterwards and clean every, they would have other regiments. That's based on, that's what this story said. I don't know if it's true.
What the movie said.
Yeah, the movie said that.
I don't know if the movie is
how
true
accurate that
to
is,
Viking mythology or
but
history,
this is per the movie.
Yes.
So, and of course, conveniently, they say that these berserkers now, they never died, that they were so evil in their heart and their soul and what they were.
That they get like reincarnated or come back or something.
In someone that was related to them.
They possess
someone that's related to them in their, down
a relative's body.
Down the line. So they could go on forever like this. As long as their lineage exists, they could appear, a berserker could take over their body.
So it's just like the boogeyman, he goes around and kills people. Yeah. Not much of a story.
Yeah. But it was interesting because they make it look like a bear the whole time. You think it's a bear killing people.
Yeah, because for like half the movie you see like this grizzly bear thing in the woods. So you think, oh, okay,
and you just see
this bear's going around killing people.
You see like a claw and an arm, and it turns out that the killer's wearing like a bear arms and bear head and bear like feet. But the actual real bear was trying to help, I think.
Oh.
Anyway.
Yeah, because there was that one scene where the bear broke up the...
He was fighting the bear.
He was fighting... Yeah.
The berserker was fighting an actual bear.
But the bear was like trying to get rid of him or something.
Yeah. Anyway, but it was a cool premise. I mean, I think the premise is kind of neat.
It was, it kept my attention. Like, I wanted to find out what happened next. I wanted to see what happened, who survived, who the final girl was.
And I think they also tried to say, too, that this area where it happened, I forget, but that Vikings actually settled there a long, that's where guy...
and the guy who worked at the campgrounds was supposedly...
Spoiler alert,
of, like, Viking heritage something.
It wasn't Cocaine Berserker, but that could be a cool one, too.
It wasn't Cocaine Bear Berserker.
That would be a great one, too.
No.
Yeah, so I guess that's how this guy was related to Leif Erikson or whoever he was related to. Because there's that whole thing where Vikings were actually sailed to, actually came to North America a long time ago, before Columbus was here.
Yes.
So, discovered America. But...
it was always there.
Yeah, but I think there were other people. I think it's getting more and more.
Some people are just not good with directions.
There were other cultures here, seafaring cultures that actually, encountered the shores of North America, South America way before the Columbus and that crew did. But anyway, this movie was it wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. It
was bad, cheesy bad.
Yeah,
but it was enjoyable bad. I think it's still worth a watch, in my opinion. Yeah. But it's not. Don't expect like a really good story. Don't expect like the greatest effects. It's cheesy.
The acting is horrible.
The acting's pretty funny.
All the characters do all the dumb things you shouldn't.
All the tropes with like the car not starting.
Yes. Walking in the woods as deep as you can without knowing.
Oh yeah, the one girl's like, "Oh, I have to go pee," and I guess they all go outside. They don't have indoor plumbing in this cabin.
Instead of just going around the cabin where there wasn't and just squatting, she like walks 10 miles into the woods.
Yeah, she's like walking way far away from the cabin. Like, where are you going to pee?
No need.
Why are you walking a mile away?
Well,
haven't you seen scary movies? Like at that point, if I were in that cabin. Just like go pee in a bucket and throw it out the window or something.
Yeah,
I would not leave the cabin.
I see Time Lord Boy way over in across the pond there is talking about skinwalkers to Bobby. Yeah, and that's a Native American legend where people could actually assume the form of a wolf.
Yes, and that reminds me on Coast to Coast, like
the radio show Coast to Coast AM.
Coast to Coast AM on the radio show, George Knapp he did a whole segment about. The whole thing about the Skinwalker Ranch. And I guess there's a show out
That's
now.
not a flavor of salad dressing?
No. Maybe for Hannibal Lecter.
Skinwalker Ranch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But the weird thing that a lot of people don't know about Skinwalkers is that they also are very musical. And they, what instrument they play?
Well, a Graham.
The skin flute.
Oh boy, I knew you were going to go there.
The Skinwalker flute.
So yeah, if you want to watch a cheesy 80s slasher film, look up Berserker. Is that what it's called? Berserker?
Yeah, Berserker. Yeah.
Berserker, 1987.
Whenever you say that, I can't repeat the lyrics, but if you know, you know. The Clerks movie, Jay and Silent Bob, Jay sings a song called Berserker in there, and it's really the lyrics are really dirty, but it's funny.
Okay, well don't.
Berserker.
Let's read some comments. Rog says, I recommend Jurassic Thunder from 2019. It has remote-controlled T-Rexes gone rogue, zombies, inept military Russians, and a character that appears to be a current high-ranking U.S. government official.
Jurassic Thunder. I thought that was an AC/DC song. Jurassic Thunder! Look, Seth Martin says
Skinwalker Ranch, isn't that where George Lucas lives? Funny.
He was,
Maybe he's visited there.
Well, Skywalker Ranch.
I know.
It sounds close to that.
VHS Mikey says that song rules.
What, Berserker?
Yes.
Yes, it is a great song.
I saw Thunderbolts. It was okay, says Kev Thulu.
Oh, see, I want to see that.
He said it was okay.
I heard it had a lot of heart.
And Jennifer Delaney saw the new Lilo and Stitch, and she loved it.
Oh, you want to see that movie?
Yes, I like the cartoon Lilo and Stitch.
I would watch it.
It looks so cute.
I like the original cartoon a lot.
The cartoon was fun, and it has aliens in it, and I love aliens.
It does, and I think that they have them in this movie, but I think they're look like people, I guess.
Well, it's live action, but with CGI.
I think they inhabit the body of people or something like that.
I don't remember. I don't recall that happening or seeing anything about that, but
yeah.
Steven says, I just watched a great documentary on Tubi called Eurocrime about Italian crime films.
Ooh.
Awesome if you're into those movies, and you may discover some new classics. Oh, thank you for the recommendation.
Man, I could watch movies all damn day. That's a problem.
And then Seth says, I'm heading to Monster Palooza tomorrow. I'll pick you guys up a souvenir. Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh, we would love to
hit
that up one day. Yeah,
we would love to go to Monster Palooza one day.
That's up on the bucket list for sure.
Yeah, when things are different, we're definitely going to Monster Palooza.
A buddy of ours, James Groman, who's an amazing sculptor, a toy designer, he's going to be there. He's going to be he goes to Monster Palooza.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of artsy people that go there, and very a lot of horror and monster movie films.
And I believe Toxic Tunes used to go there too, right?
Yeah, Eric Pigors used to set up there.
That was his place to go. He's out of commission right now, but
yeah, he's recovering from surgery.
Yes, he'll be back up and running for next year's Monster Palooza, I'm sure.
So he should be, on the mend.
Berserker. Yeah, that's it. That's right. That wasn't. It was Silent Bob's Russian cousin. It was another. That's right. That's right. I just haven't seen that in a while. I love it.
And then let's see. Seems to be a time to remake cheesy '90s films like I Know What You Did Last Summer. Are they remaking that?
Yes, they are. And
why?
So the Lilo and Stitch thing was interesting because what they're doing. This trend I like. Mm-hmm. I'm not a big fan of remaking something that's already been done.
I don't always like the remake stuff.
Except if you're doing something more if it's format, like an animated movie being made into a live action movie, like Snow White, which I don't care about, but Lilo and Stitch I would like to see.
Well, I think Snow White I still want to see too because I
want to see those CGI dwarves. That's what throws me off.
I'll see it at some point. Like, I wasn't really wanting to see it in the theater, but...
We don't see anything in the theater anymore.
No, we don't really go to theaters much anymore.
But I love the theater. I miss it,
It's just... We've talked about this before.
Yeah.
I cannot stand it when people are, like, rude and loud in movie theaters. You pay, like, $15, $20 to...
You pay that much? You pay way more than that when you want to really enjoy yourself. When you add any kind of food.
You pay for the ticket and then all this
You're $30 in on 2 tickets.
Probably, yeah.
And then with food, if you want anything to eat or drink, you're close to $100 a visit. Now, if everybody's paying about maybe $30 on average,
so you're paying all this money, and there's going to be some jerk sitting in front of you on their phone.
Happens to me every time,
and it's distracting.
And I'll look around.
It's so distracting.
I'm not even exaggerating. When I'll look around and I don't see any other cell phone except for someone right in my eye view.
It's always someone in front.
Always, and
or someone with their bag of snacks and they're like crinkling it.
It's the loudest bag
like
in the
this,
world.
like really loud,
right behind you,
like all the time.
Yeah, it's like, come on, why can't they?
Yeah, they're too people-y.
Yeah,
I think we just need to rent a movie theater and go see a movie without other people there.
We could do that now. I think that's possible. But yeah.
I think, there's just, it always seems to be like there's always that one, like, annoying thing going on.
I'll tell you a story about that. So, someone I was with way before, back in the day, someone I was dating at the time, we went, and she had a temper like no other. And we were in a movie. And there weren't even a lot of people in the movie there. But, of course, in front of us were the talkie people, a couple. This girl I was dating was right behind one of them, or behind. The people were talking, and she literally kicked the back of this seat, hard.
Oh.
I'm like, uh-oh, here we go. Now I got to get involved with something. And they didn't. They did the what? The wire. Because she's like, shut the F up or whatever.
Wow.
And they did, but it's like it was. I've got a lot of stories like that, and people just can't behave themselves in a movie. I don't know why. What's wrong with that?
Yeah,
what the problem is, especially when you spend all that money to go there.
They can't. Yeah, you're paying all this money and they can't sit still to
I'm
actually
assuming
watch.
Maybe they got a free ticket. I don't know.
I don't know. So yeah, that's a peeve of ours, and that's why we don't go to theaters.
And not to get too deep or weird, but
I mean, there might be some movie we definitely want to see Superman this summer, but we'll probably have to try to find a matinee where there's just a few people there.
You gotta wait a few weeks.
You have to wait a couple weeks.
But yeah, and with the climate of the times now, you have to really think twice about what you do.
No, you don't do. Yeah, because you don't know. Because people get crazy.
The slightest thing could set someone off, and they could bring. They might have something more than popcorn in their lap, and you don't want to have to.
No.
To worry about that, so, you just have to sit there and be the idiot that paid.
Or tell the usher and have them handle it.
I've had that happen, and it was
and sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't.
It didn't matter. The person asked them. It was really, the stories.
Exactly.
It's horrible. But anyway.
All right, so let's continue on. Enough of that.
Time Lord Boy asked a great question.
There's a bunch of comments.
Superman is from Cleveland, right? Yes, Superman was created in Cleveland, Ohio, by
Simon and Schuster.
No,
no.
That's a publisher.
That's a publisher. Siegel and Schuster.
Yeah. Jerry Siegel.
Yeah, that's a publishing company.
Simon & Schuster is a publishing company. Yeah.
Whoops.
And there's a house here in Cleveland where they both were staying at, or at least one of them was, where Superman was actually, the idea was concepted in this house that's actually cordoned off and and recognized by the city.
It's a historic landmark.
It's a landmark, and
they're working on. Aren't they working on a Superman museum?
They're working on a museum. One? They had a little thing in the Cleveland airport.
They had a mini museum at the airport.
But he was the concept for the character was created here in Cleveland, Ohio. Yes, and those two guys left here and went to New York City. I think sold the rights to DC Comics for I think $300 or $500.
Wow!
Ooh, can you believe that? And I know that was a lot of money back in the 30s or 40s.
Well, they didn't know that.
But it wasn't that much money.
Yeah.
I mean, $500 might have been like $10,000 back then. It wasn't that much. But that's, who knew that? They had no idea.
So the city of Metropolis, that's based on Cleveland.
Well, just, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that's
Metropolis
why
is Cleveland.
That's why James Gunn, the guy that's, directing this
that directed movie, Superman,
the new
one.
Superman movie, shot a lot of the scenes here, the footage here, and we would have loved to have tried to have been extras in there. Not as Mummy and the Monkey, or maybe as Mummy and the Monkey. We could have been Cleveland superheroes.
Yeah, we just couldn't, because with being an extra, you're away for like sometimes 12, 14-hour days.
Yeah, and you might not even be in the movie, but
it's like a lot. So
yeah,
we just couldn't be away that long.
Yeah. It's the Simon. You got me saying that Siegel and Schuster's story is kind of sad, but nobody but at that time there wasn't anything like that. I mean, nobody understood the licensing and thought it was something.
Yeah, it was like a new concept. Yeah,
but it was later. I mean, those comics were big. They sold a lot in the 40s and 50s. Mm-hmm. But when Superman was created in the 30s, I don't think that was they didn't forecast all.
Well, and think of all the newspapers people read then, and they all had comic strips in the newspapers.
Yeah.
Like, it was just so different, with people reading comics and reading things on printed paper.
Yeah.
Okay, let's read some more comments, and then we could talk about some more stuff.
But don't talk more about Berserker. That's not even... This is more interesting to me.
The last couple movies I went to see were at the Phoenix Movie Theater at Great Northern Mall. Large heated reclining seats, full surround sound, says Gary Smith.
And happy endings, yes.
So he said that one was nice. John Biggin says public rudeness is a problem.
It is. And you think that if you're paying for the experience yourself, that you would be involved. You wouldn't want to interrupt anybody else. But I think some of it, too, has a lot to do with people just having a similar setup at home. Everyone has giant televisions now that almost are like a big movie screen. And you have your cell phone. You're always on your cell phone. You're always talking to somebody. And there's no difference between being at home and being in public.
And I think a lot of people just aren't taught manners. Like, when you're out in public, you're supposed to act differently. You're supposed to try to behave yourself in public.
Yeah. Before cell phones, too. I mean, this is going back to the other story I told about the girl I dated kicking the back seat of somebody to the point where the person jerked. I mean, it was really, I thought for sure this was going to escalate to something very bad, and it didn't. But that had nothing to do with cell phones. This was before because that was before even on flip phones. This was just them talking.
Yeah.
Incessantly talking.
Well, yeah. I mean, whether you're doing that or whatever you're doing, it's like, just be polite.
Have you ever been around a person?
If you're talking, talk quietly. Have
you ever been in the movie theater and there's someone either behind you or in front of you, but you hear them? They saw the movie already, and they're with someone that didn't.
Oh no!
And they're like,
I never heard that conversation.
I have.
I heard other conversations.
I love this part coming
where I'm like hearing things about their personal lives that sound a little too personal. Yeah. Where I'm hearing their whole life story.
Well, that would be cool. No, but that you could at least, that's at least a different thing than someone saying, "I like this part coming up right here. Watch this." It's like,
oh no!
Shut the up.
Yeah.
For real, man?
Like, don't give the movie away.
Oh, they're going to die here. Watch this. It's like,
oh no.
You bastard. And don't
do it.
Like, spoiler alerts, in real time. It's like really bad.
That's terrible.
I've totally been there before in a movie theater.
That's awful.
Sneaking your own snacks,
Yeah, I mean, everybody has done that.
Of course.
Everybody has.
Yeah, especially if there's a dollar store around. Ooh.
Oh yeah, you'd go to the Dollar Tree and fill up your purse with snacks.
Oh gosh, yeah. Unless they don't pat you down. They have like the TSA now.
I think some of them check your bags now.
Do they really?
Yeah, there was one we went to.
For weapons? Or for hot tamales?
Probably for snacks.
For Mike and Ike's.
To see if you're smoggling.
You got any dots in there? Any snow caps?
Yeah.
What's in your bag?
Any Snickers bars?
Well, I remember when people would go to movie theaters And you would smell like a fried chicken dinner being opened up. Like
someone put a KFC bucket in their bag.
Yeah, that or bologna sandwiches.
What?
Like you could, and it would be like, people were bringing a whole.
Like someone's mom packed them their lunch with sandwiches.
Totally. You'd be like, oh wow.
That's funny.
Now I know a lot of movie theaters now they sell everything. They have, ice cream, nachos,
beer,
bologna sandwich.
Yeah.
They have everything now, so it's not so unusual now. But imagine sitting in a movie theater 15, 20 years ago.
Oh my goodness.
And all you would ever smell is popcorn.
It was just popcorn and maybe candy.
Yeah, you're like, what's that?
It was very limited.
It smells like bologna or it smells like KFC. And I smell Kentucky Fried Chicken, and there's somebody with a 5-piece chicken meal.
And then they're probably going to leave the chicken bones on the floor for the poor usher to clean up.
That's a whole
rather than throwing it in the trash can like a polite person.
A tomato.
Who smuggled in food.
Mickey Bobby says someone brought a tomato and eat it. Well, I guess it's better than
tomato?
Throwing it at the screen. But...
Yeah, that's different. Okay.
Yeah, when I lived in Virginia Beach for a while, there was a place there that would, I keep forgetting the name of it, but it was basically a restaurant that showed a movie. And they had a couple of tiers that you could sit on. They had some tables and little ledges that you could also sit at.
Sailor Sam says, thanks, Grim. I'm going to make me a bologna sandwich now.
I haven't had bologna in a long time.
James Wascarella. Hi, Janet Grim. Sorry I missed your show earlier tonight. Had some TV problems. It's okay. It's all good. You can watch it later.
Yeah, it's archived on there.
It's on our YouTube. You can catch it later.
That's the beauty of the internet. Of the YouTube.
And then Time Lord Boy says, Mo Fay, it's annoying when big cinemas search people for food. Yeah.
You get the pat down for those Jolly Ranchers.
Oh, yeah. They've got the TSA of movie theaters.
Well, you got to get all prisony then. You got to smuggle it in another way.
Oh, no.
You've got some, internal.
No, that's okay.
Built-in pockets.
No, I don't.
If you know what I mean.
I don't. No, we're good.
You put it in a Ziploc
Grim,
bag.
No, Grim.
A little Vaseline.
Don't go there. No. Don't listen to him.
Where's that Slim Jim I brought?
Don't take his advice. Don't.
Snap into his Slim Jim.
No. How about not? Nope. Nope. You could do that. I'm not.
I got to get my food. I'll go to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
Oh, my God. Oh.
Go to the restroom. And
no, I'm good.
Extrapolate your snacks.
Be careful if it could. You don't know if it's a Tootsie Roll or not. It could be something else.
Look at you now. See, you're jumping in it. Yeah.
Oh God.
This Tootsie Roll has peanuts in it. What the hell? Is this a Nutty Buddy or a Tootsie Roll? I don't remember.
Yeah. So gross.
You started it.
You started it.
You jumped
I blame you.
I got you going now.
I blame you. You started all of it.
There's so many jokes there. I'm not going to do it.
You just love to instigate. Okay, so going back to movies. Another bad movie we watched on Tubi. Huntress, Spirit of the Night from 1995.
Now, this movie...
Oh, it started off kind of interesting.
It's one of those movies, too, that it's what you call it, like a Cinemax or Skinemax
like a Skinemax type of movie.
Like, what reason could we get, again, women to just, be, semi-naked through the whole movie? You never get to see it.
Not through the whole movie, just through some scenes.
You know what I mean. Whenever...
It has some TNA. They don't show anything too graphic.
Yeah, of course, no man stuff for the women.
Definitely not for kids to watch.
No.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of that out there, I mean, there's no, there probably are parental...
you can set parental controls on Roku.
Yeah, but my God, I don't know
for people who need to do that. Yeah.
Anyway, but Huntress, what was it called? Spirit of the Night?
Spirit of the Night.
Yeah. It wasn't a terrible movie, but it wasn't a great movie.
This pretty redhead lady, this young lady, I guess her father passes away. She's living on the East Coast.
He leaves her a mansion.
In the States. Her father was living, I guess, in Ireland.
Yeah.
And well-to-do, sent her off to the States to study, go to school. And
she comes back after he passes away, right?
They weren't real close, I guess, and then he passes away. She goes back, I guess, to take care of the estates.
Yeah.
Because he lived in a castle, so I mean, her family was loaded. They had some dough, and she's learning about her family background, and there's some type of family curse.
There's a couple things going on here.
And everyone is telling her to leave the castle and get out of there, go back to America.
But it's multi-layered because there's a family curse, okay, which has to do with transforming into a beast or something, or beast-like qualities. But the castle itself has a secret hidden in the walls. And so it's like a double layer thing. So you got this like supernatural thing going on. But there's also like this drama thing going on, and the secret of the castle. Like, why does everybody want this castle from her?
Yeah.
And there's a reason why.
And and I had my suspicions, but there's pretty much there's
a couple parties after whatever's in the castle, and she's like the key.
Yeah,
like,
so some people are trying to like schmooze her to try to seduce her to have access to treasures that are in the castle.
Yeah,
or to possibly buy the estate from her.
So let's talk about the seduction part, because in the beginning of this movie, there's the girl that's bequeathed this castle by her father.
Yes,
and then there's this couple that around her same age,
like people that man and a woman. I guess they were friends when they were younger.
They were little.
Yeah,
and her friend was with this guy, and so I didn't understand this part, and we both were talking about it. So the two girls are talking, and she's like, "Don't you want to relive that fantasy you had when you were young about being with two girls and a guy?" I guess that was. So they drug the guy's drink. Why? I don't know one guy you would have to drug their drink to have him participate in a threesome.
Boy.
Right? It made no sense.
Grim, I don't want to go there.
We're talking about the movie.
Yeah, but you don't have to go into those details.
I'm not saying anything dirty. I'm just saying, that was a very strange.
The whole. I get so many questions.
The
movie started out kind of interesting, and then it got like really weird with that.
Yeah.
And supposedly she becomes cursed, and she has these
the supernatural part.
The supernatural part of it is she has these like animal instincts, and I thought, okay, does she turn into like a werewolf or something?
The beast within. It was called on Tubi. It's called The Beast Within Her.
Is that what it said on there?
That's the name of the movie on Tubi, but it's also known as Huntress.
I think it had a couple different titles.
It did. I had the VHS of this, and I never watched it, but I recognized some of the pictures from the back. I'm like, I think I have this movie. It's called Huntress, but it has multiple names.
Yeah.
On Tubi, it's called The Beast Within Her. That's why you thought she'd turn into a wolf.
Yeah, I was hoping like it would get good, like maybe she would turn into a werewolf and attack people.
There was also an older gentleman who was a friend of the family, the father, whatever, who seemed at first to be
to be trustworthy and nice,
about her safety.
Like a nice old guy. He's like, "Oh, the family's cursed. You have to get out of here. I'm worried about your safety."
He wanted her to leave. So the young couple was trying to get her to give the castle to them. The old guy was trying to make that same girl leave the castle because of what could happen.
So then
to her.
he wanted to get some paintings or some treasures
that's the secret.
In there.
The secret of the castle, giving everything away. The spoiler alerts are full effect.
Does it really matter?
So this, her father actually was involved with some shipping company that they smuggled a bunch of paintings, like valuable Degas, a bunch of impressionist painters.
Oh, okay.
They had some lost paintings of theirs, and they were all hung up in the wall, in secret chambers inside this. That was why everyone wanted this castle.
So, like, everyone was pretty much going after her, like, wanting all these treasures.
Millions of dollars.
Kind of like if someone wins the lottery, and then people are like, hey, give me some money, too.
Yeah. They just wanted to get their hands on these valuable paintings.
Yeah.
But they had no idea that she was turning into this, like wolf, like this, like, beast woman.
But you never saw her actually turn into anything.
Only her eyes turned black.
It was kind of stupid.
They had the black contact, the sclera lens contacts.
Yeah, it was.
But she could like jump far and land and not get hurt.
She was more agile, and I guess she had more strength.
That's about it.
And that was it. Like she didn't she just looks like this chick jumping around.
Yeah, she didn't turn into an actual beast.
She's not like actually turning into
the worst part was the ending, though. Remember how it ended?
The ending was stupid.
Really dumb.
And it was kind of like abrupt. They didn't.
It's an open ending. I think they try to.
Maybe they were going to make a sequel,
but why?
It just never happened.
Maybe then she'll turn to the beast.
So that one was like, I think, worse than Berserker. I think Berserker was more entertaining than the Huntress.
It was
movie.
But the Huntress had better scenes for me.
Well, it had some TNA.
A lot of TNA.
Yeah.
A lot of shower scenes for no reason, and
Yeah. Okay, so I want to see Connie bleep Grimm. LOL, says John Biggins.
What?
Time Lord Boy says that film Count Yorgos was meant to be an adult film, but became a horror film. I remember.
What is Huntress?
Count Yorgo.
Oh, Yorga Vampire?
Yargo? Count Yargo.
Count Yorga.
Or, I don't know. That
Yorga?
It's Yargo. Yargo.
That I don't know what it is.
Maybe it's the spelling's off.
So. I know Count Yorga, but I don't think that was supposed to be. That was an old 70s.
And then James Muscarella says, Clark bars are back.
Woohoo!
And
I like Clark bars. They were good.
Kev Thulu says, Blood Diner is on Tubi. Bonkers fun, kind of a sequel to the gore schlock classic Blood Feast. Yeah, that movie's really gory and
crazy. We watched
crazy.
it a while back, and it was...
I was like, whoa.
It was pretty good.
It
was definitely... It knew what it was. It was one of those horror comedies, black comedies, dark comedies. And it knew what it was what it was. It was wacky.
I liked it. Yeah, I don't know if I could watch it again, but for what it was, I appreciated it.
Count Yorga. There you go.
Yorga. Okay, Count Yorga. Yeah, let's see. There's a lot of stuff here.
Clark bar. I didn't know they weren't around anymore. Have you ever had a Clark bar? It's almost like a Butterfinger, a Clark bar, right? I mean, it had whatever that stuff in the center was. It wasn't as buttery as a Butterfinger, but it was the same type of like
Clark bar? I don't remember Clark bars.
Yeah, they were good.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't even remember what they taste like.
Jennifer Delaney said her favorite werewolf movie is Blood and Chocolate. I didn't know that was a werewolf movie.
Blood and Chocolate?
Yeah. That's a.
I thought that was a.
Is that
there was one called Blood and Donuts. That was a vampire movie.
No, Blood and Donuts.
Yeah, there was a movie. It was called Blood and Donuts.
Oh my gosh!
I remember renting it from.
Blockbuster.
Not Blockbuster. I think it was like Hollywood Video.
York Video.
Or Movie Gallery. It was one of those like smaller rental stores. But yeah, Blood and Donuts. And it was pretty bad.
Well, Clark bars aren't Reese peanut butter cups. I thought Clark bars had the same sort of stuff that's in the center of a Butterfinger. It's like that crunchy, like flaky, hard. That's what I remember a Clark bar used to be.
Oh, so it was kind of like a Butterfinger thing?
Yeah, but not buttery.
Then I probably didn't like it. Honestly.
You don't like Butterfingers?
No, I don't like Butterfingers.
I haven't had one in forever, but I did like them.
I didn't like the texture. It was
I love that. It was like shale rock. It was like, right? It was like very, flaky, whatever that stuff's in.
Yeah, it was weird. I think they still make them, but it's just not.
But it gets real sticky too when you chew it.
Yeah, it sticks to your teeth.
Not my thing.
No, not for me. Twix I like. Twix is good.
Clark bars were harder. Yeah, Greg Tominski's right. He would know. He's a snack master general. They were harder than butter. They were definitely a harder thing. They weren't like Reese cups.
Like harder to bite into.
Yeah, they were definitely like a flaky, hard sort of center with chocolate over it, milk chocolate.
All right, and then another thing that we've been watching recently, Jeremy Corbell on YouTube. We're going to
talk about UFO stuff.
A lot of the UFO stuff. And then Wiki Bobby had a suggestion talking about the shadow people, which is another paranormal type of thing. But, I told him we were going to talk some movie stuff, and then maybe towards the end we could talk a little bit paranormal.
You had mentioned earlier that
maybe
you
UFO
or you wanted to talk about Jeremy Corbell.
Yes.
Who is like the new, spearhead of the UFO, UAP movement. This guy's putting it all on the line. His personal safety, his reputation, everything to try to get to the truth of UFOs and UAPs.
So
which
he
is
says.
The unidentified aerial phenomena, for those who don't know. Which, again, there's stuff out there, of course. Even if it's stuff that is developed by any government in the world, we still would like to know what some of this stuff is. Because, hey, it has to do with our safety, and if we're paying for it, we should know about it. Yeah. Unless it's foreign, that's a different thing.
I just think it's really interesting because it makes you wonder, maybe there is something else out
there. He had the newest offering from him and George Knapp, who is another big UFO, UAP guy, who has been for decades. It has been on the Coast to Coast. He actually hosts the Coast to Coast AM show on Sunday nights, I believe. Sometimes George Knapp has been for years. But he's teamed up with Jeremy Corbell, and they just put something out recently.
Do a podcast together.
Yeah, they have a whistleblower. It's a three-part
Three
piece.
parts.
Is it on Netflix? Is it on?
It's on their YouTube.
Their YouTube channel.
Yes, it's on Jeremy's YouTube.
Jeremy's YouTube channel.
Yes.
YouTube channel, and they have a whistleblower who used to work at the Pentagon. His name is Matt Brown, right? Mm-hmm. And it's really wild. He has a lot to say about. And a lot to say, and then a lot he can't say.
A lot to say, and then a lot that wasn't said.
You have to read between the lines of some of it, which is a little annoying, but I understand why you have to do it.
Well, I just think, whether it's real or not, I think it's really interesting. So,
and if somebody...
I'm sure there's a lot of faked stuff also, but I think there could be some truth to it too. So I have an open mind about it, but at the same time, let's see some evidence.
That's what we just need that one big piece of proof, which would be really nice because that would change everything. But now with the advent of AI, whether it's, you'd have to actually be able to actually see it and touch it yourself because you can't believe anything you see on TV or the internet. And with the way they're doing stuff with genetics and everything too, it's going to be hard to tell if something's even your. Remember the Terminator movies? I love that they talked about, they mentioned in the first Terminator movie that you wouldn't even be able to tell. They have bad breath. They sweat, even though they were metal underneath.
VHS Mikey says, I love watching UFO stuff. I go to sleep watching Ancient Aliens.
Yeah, well, check. Is VHS Mikey familiar with Jeremy Corbell? Dude, this is different, next level stuff. Ancient Aliens is just. That's not
look up
guy's
up his YouTube channel, and there's a lot of other YouTube channels like that, and
it's Corbell, Korbel, right? With the K.
Bell.
Is it two L's?
Two L's, I believe.
It wouldn't be hard to find the guy.
Yeah.
Because he covered and that blew my mind.
There was on. It's also on Tubi.
Yes.
It's through TMZ.
TMZ, right?
There was some type of UAP. I think it has 5 episodes.
There's two seasons of it.
I think they did 5 episodes.
2 seasons.
Well, one was 3 episodes, and then they did 2 more. Right. So 5 episodes total.
Total, yeah.
So there's that, and I think if you like listening to the Ancient Alien stuff, you might dig that.
Yeah, and it's all.
I think it's called UFO Revolution or something.
It's UFO Revolution,
but it's TMZ on Tubi.
That's UFO Revolution. That's the beginning of the rabbit hole, and then once you start learning these people, you know who Jeremy Corbell is and who George Knapp is, you're going to just fall down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, it's
amazing stuff.
It's just neat to listen to.
Well, because this is during they had congressional hearings on the UAP thing.
Yeah, and that's pretty epic.
These are people swearing an oath to be in prison if they're lying, talking about stuff that they know about that's going on behind in certain parts of the government and whatever else.
And that's, I mean,
why would if you lie about that, you'll go to jail.
It's pretty interesting stuff.
It's interesting, very interesting.
It's fascinating.
It's closer than some guy.
To quote Spock.
It's miles away from someone saying I was in a cornfield and I looked up and I saw you. That's interesting, and it could have happened. But when you have people testifying in a congressional hearing about biologicals and recovered craft, that's a whole different level of of testimony. Of a story. So
okay, more comments here. Let's see.
Oh, dude, I hope everything's gets better for you, man. I haven't been
very active rebuilding from a flood. Oh, that's right.
Boy,
he had all his cool VHS stuff set up in his basement.
Man.
Basement flooded.
That sucks.
All his collectibles and stuff. So that does suck. So I hope things get better for you, dude.
Yeah, that's I didn't know about all. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is no fun having a basement that can flood.
No. Someone's.
I've been there before. What?
I think Mofe Chen was wondering if they were muted. They said.
Oh no, they're not muted. They're good. No one's
with the muting.
No one's muted that I know of.
Muting people.
Don't mute people.
Don't do that.
Let's see. Babe Ruth would not allow a candy bar to be named after him, so they changed it to Baby Ruth, says Rog.
Why not?
I don't know.
Because he was...
So I guess that's why they're called Baby Ruths, according to them.
Close enough.
And then VHS Mikey says it's looking so much better, plus spending extra on future preventions.
Yeah, basements are tricky.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one thing. If the aliens are coming, we can ask them, how can we fix our basements so they don't flood? If they know anything, they got to know that, right? They can get from here, from Zeta Reticuli to Earth.
You can get it waterproof.
We don't know about
but
that.
It's going to be a lot of money.
See, I would ask them weird stuff like that.
Grim.
Ship. I would ask them weird ships like that. Potato chips.
Spaceships.
I'd be like, hey. I'd ask them I'd do my Seinfeld voice.
No, don't do that. I hate that voice, actually.
How's it going?
Please don't do that voice. Tony Colin is a Monster member now. Welcome to Monster membership. For our fans and friends out there, if you want to be a channel member and support the channel, it's $2.99 a month. And you have access to members-only videos. Sometimes Grim puts up like retro commercials he finds on videotape. Sometimes
you know who he is, right?
We give you updates about our cats. Who, what?
He's the guy that plays guitar for Johnny.
Really? Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
He's part of Electric Wings, baby.
Oh, that's cool.
Check out that Electric Wings stuff. Check out YouTube. I think they have some stuff on YouTube. Electric Wings, good rock and roll. They actually, it's a band that was around a bunch of years ago, but now they're back and they've got some new stuff out. A lot of new stuff. They put a new album out, and they've went and redone some older songs.
Oh, cool.
And stuff like that. So check out Electric Wings, baby.
All right. So there is that. Let's see. I was able to save a lot of tapes. Mostly lost my DVDs, says VHS Mikey.
The DVDs? What, you mean like the paper part of it? I mean,
DVDs.
Because, wow, that's good because VHS, I think, were more susceptible to moisture than a plastic, DVD, unless they got, messed up somehow other way. Like the covers and stuff, the paper inserts and things, but the DVD itself could be okay. I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be a lot to deal with.
Greg Tominski's, well then shoot us an email or message me about that, Greg.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so, trying to remember. Okay, so Wiki Bobby mentioned...
Shadow people?
Shadow people. And
you know about that?
The shadow people, they're kind of like ghosts, like a shadowy figure.
Well, they're beings that like kind of exist... Well, X-Files had a great episode to me about...
Oh, X-Files.
About sort of like that. There was a guy, and I love this idea. See, they came up with some really interesting stuff. Do you remember this episode of X-Files where there was a guy that if you didn't see him in front of you, he only existed in your peripheral vision. So if you're not looking ahead, he was there. He's always there, but if you're looking straight, you would never see him. Really weird idea.
I guess like a shadow person then.
Kind of reminds me of the shadow people thing.
And Albert
Cola's been
watching X-Files lately.
Oh my god!
They replay those on local television all the time. I think Comet TV.
Yeah, up until oh my god,
Channel 8.3 if you're in Northeast Ohio.
It was the first show to come along besides Kolchak the Night Stalker, which I never watched. Growing up, that was one that that was very X-Files like, that show.
That I haven't seen much of.
I didn't either, and
I need to watch those.
Which I feel stupid because later on on that last go around of X-Files, they actually did like kind of a tribute to Kolchak with the Lizard Guy episode.
Oh, that was such a great episode.
The were-human.
Yes, the were-human.
The lizard man that got bit by a human, and he would turn into a human.
He turned into a guy.
Brilliant.
And his name was Guy.
Yeah. Brilliant freaking episode.
That was like one of their last episodes.
Yeah, Chris Carter definitely, Mofe Chen said the Kolchak. But see, that's something, I don't know why that wasn't on my radar growing up, about Kolchak. It depended, obviously, maybe in Cleveland they didn't show Kolchak. They didn't. The affiliates that's the other thing about growing up in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, is that most people only had access to like 6 or 7 channels if you didn't have cable back in the 80s.
And some shows weren't reran.
They weren't syndicated in those markets.
Yeah, there's some retro shows that,
you take all
maybe you don't get to see them until years later.
You take all that for granted now. Even between being able to borrow stuff from a library, they have like tons of video, definitely DVDs now and Blu-rays.
Yeah.
But if you could afford cable or the internet, there's nothing you can't see. We take it for granted. Like, oh, I know what that.
Yeah, but back 50 years ago, you couldn't.
No, that's either it was shown in your town or it wasn't,
Yeah.
It was on rotation or it wasn't.
And then 30 years ago, you had to maybe get the videotape from the library or the rental store.
You could rent video, it got more and more open to where, and that's where it all, and the people now are like, oh, you're just so nonchalant about, torrent sites and libraries and video stores and cable. You have so many, and the internet itself. You have so many sources to watch and listen to
Scott
things.
says, I loved Kolchak the Night Stalker as a kid. It was 1974. It only lasted one season.
Yeah, I'd love to see. I've seen a few of them.
So that's why we
wild.
haven't seen it much.
They're pretty wild.
Matthew Binney, Aussie VHS. Ooh, another VHS YouTuber.
Okay.
Hello, Mummy and the Monkey. I haven't been commenting much, but still been watching every week on TV. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for checking it out.
Awesome.
Yeah, we've recently got more VHS to go. I mean, not that
He's an awesome Aussie VHS guy.
Oh, cool. Australia.
Well, yeah, it says Aussie on his name.
Yeah. All right. Cool. That's really cool.
And then John Biggins, The Night Stalker was a great movie. This is a newspaper, and this is news. That must have been in the movie. I didn't see the movie.
But X-Files definitely. I mean, you would think because UFOs and that kind of stuff, it's always been very popular. But nobody really did a show on it. Like, they didn't really get into it like X-Files did. Mm-mm. You know, I loved it. Their movies suck, but the TV show was good.
Well, I liked the movie anyway.
You toterated them because looking at David Duchovny. That doesn't count.
Well, it helps. Well, he was cute when he was younger. I mean, everyone liked Scully too. Come on, you weren't looking at Scully?
I cried a lot to her too. A lot of tissues to her. When the show ended,
Mulder and Scully were good-looking people.
Yeah, when the show ended, I would cry,
the show
and
was good on top of that, with a good story and good character development.
I would need the tissues to dry my tears.
So it was just all good, all around.
After the show ended, every night,
oh my goodness!
I would cry. Scully's not on.
Okay, Grim. Oh boy.
Dry all my wet stuff.
Okay.
Anyway.
Anyways.
He was a reporter. Kolchak was a reporter, and he would always, kind of stumble upon crazy situations.
So I think we're gonna wrap this up pretty soon.
Oh shucks!
I'm tired and my stomach's growling.
We never got into shadow people.
We never did get into the shadow people, but maybe
next time.
Next Harry Scary Hangout, we could talk more about the paranormal stuff.
Yeah, you don't want to see that Time Lord boy. That would not be a good show.
What?
Monkey being nude.
Or
rude. Oh, sorry.
A lot of hair.
I can't read here. Rude. I thought you said nude. My bad. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm always rude.
Grim's a naughty monkey.
Yeah, I'm half monkey, half rude. That's my genetic.
He's just.
That's what 23andMe told me.
He always acts out.
Oh, I have to be that guy. I'm the shock jock.
Yeah.
Reminding Love, Death, and Robots on Netflix. And you know what I really want to see is the. Marty liked the new. It was exceptionally written. Thank you. I wrote that in about 5 minutes. Right before we shot it. So
but he added laughy faces, so maybe he was joking.
Could be, yeah. We're gonna say. I think he liked the whole piece. I think he liked the idea of it.
That split screen, though, we've never done split screen before.
Apparently we didn't. Yeah, we didn't know what we were doing.
And to get. And Stasha's such a prima donna. To get her to.
But it's like this mask. It's like, oh, I could see your mouth. It's not I'm not really a monkey. This is actually a costume.
Grim. Anyways.
Okay. You have to, hopefully the entertainment is enough for you to suspend your disbelief and don't care about
Save all that for the podcast.
This is a podcast.
This isn't. This is just talking with the audience.
Well, yeah, John, there was a new, you have to go back and watch it. New Stasha skit, baby.
It's not just... It's different from the other thing.
Look, people's minds are blown right now.
For what?
Because I suggested that maybe I'm just joking. This is definitely real. It's not a costume.
Oh my gosh!
Just everybody relax.
We're getting into a weird area here.
All right, Bill Murray.
To quote one of your sound effects.
That's from Bill Murray. Ghostbusters.
Yes.
I think we're getting into a weird area.
So all right, on that note, guys, thank you for tuning in. Thanks for chatting with us and for watching our crazy videos here.
Putting up with our videos.
And putting up with our videos. And putting up with Grim.
Oh, come on. I'm not that bad, right? I'm not worse than any, uncle that comes over and annoys everybody, right? I love, look, we love doing this show. We love the variety. We love being able to portray different characters and bringing and entertaining people on a nightly basis whenever we do. Oh, thanks, VHS Mikey.
Thank you.
We really do like doing this, and we like that it's growing, and we like that people are interacting with us and making us not feel so alone.
We are happy with our small but mighty YouTube channel, and we love you guys. So thank you for watching, and good night. Good fright.
We'll see you next time. Have a good one, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. How do I shut this off? Well, that's